New Earth Day 6. But that refers to my videos. It's actually April 6th, 2026. And I'm date stamping everything because things are moving really fast. And what's going on today in the world is relevant. It's possibly the worst, the day of the most bombing of Iran, where they haven't uh, agreed. And so the war is probably at its worst moment. And so many other things are at a peak moment. But when I say New Age, New Earth rather, well, it is the New Age movement that sees it that way. Now I've turned off all the materialites, people that are trying to deal with the real world in materialist terms, which needs to happen. And it was Easter yesterday. It's a new Earth astrologically, because it's not just another year. We're into the Aquarius age, but I noticed something a month ago, more or less. The my own personal disclosure, very heavy. Nobody else is going to make us anything out of it, or I'm not. It's like, why even bother? Anybody that might be watching and tuning into me might want to check it out. The 11 segmented circular thing in the sky. It's about that. It's not much bigger than that, really. With a ending with a Mikey 50s rock star pirate emoji with a big goofy smile. Serious. It's a photograph of a thing in the sky during the eclipse. Okay. Like, I needed more self assurance that I think I know what I'm talking about. But that felt like a direct tap on the shoulder from what? Was that like a being? In any case, the cosmos, outside of me. And that was how I was intending to communicate. I was going to do a sunrise circle. I've explained it in previous videos, and I don't need to keep doing it. But you think of the clock as 12, and the missing one is where a visitor can say, "Yeah, I'm here. We're here. Is anybody else here?" The 12th. And I was going to design a thing called a UFO welcoming station with that format. And I had this visual in the sky, coinciding with disclosure for real. Trump's ready to do that. And oh yeah, the economy's crashing because of the war. There's so many other reasons it was crashing. That's a new. Okay, we're at a real edge of time in so many ways. And but I was calling it New Earth parentheses strategies because I want to get people into what they're going to do about it. Right now, you're just going to watch it, and then which side? You're going to pick a side and root for your team. There's so much finger pointing. Not only that, it's feeling really karmic. It's gone to an extreme. Everybody's against the war. I can't believe I'm actually thinking this war is appropriate. Needs to happen. Needs to get over quick. It's going to be over quick. Iran was not backing off from threatening people's lives forever. Like, we are going to put, you know what I mean? What do you? And all right, Trump's the kind of president and thinking, I may have managed to make it through what was otherwise people that were beholden to dark committees, unknowns, because you had to get through all that to become president and sell your souls how many zillion times? And somehow he just bought his way in. You want to go that way? Finger point at the elites. Yeah, I didn't want to get into all this. Everybody's finger pointing. But it's a moment to get focused on what's going on that's positive. And maybe there's only a handful that can do that because everybody's so distracted. So I guess that's who I'm talking to. And the rest I'm saying, why are you so distracted? No, I understand. It's understandable. We're in a moment of high distraction, coinciding with the moment of high bringing it together and clarity for those that get to see it. Because the clarity in all this clashes is that ain't working. None of this stuff out there, such as it is quite where it needs to be. And there's so many. If you want to just keep your little profession and complain about why your profession's not going to make it into the next new earth. And there's a million ways to critique. Oh, if we put a band-aid here, a band-aid there. Nah, but we're going to blow all that off because it's crumbling anyway. So I'm not going to bother to. Kind of went off on a rant. I've been waiting for things to settle, but they're not really going to. And here's another reason for me. I'm going with the New Earth energies. I've been explaining for since 2022, July 4th, um, what I've been seeing since pretty much the 70s, but I'm also open to a lot of new visioning all the time. And there was another vision in 2013, updated the one from 75, pretty much emphasizing the complexity of what it would take to let's call it manifest an ideal techno tribe that really enjoys and gracefully deploys its existence on this fantastic planet if we ran it right, and gets over all this like astro indigenous. I'm astro indigenous. That's what we're going for. We're trying to be at home in the stars, and whatever you want to take from the next scene, we are all aware that we're not just a tiny little planet anymore, and we're in the context of a huge cosmos. How is it still meaningful? This is where the Jehovites get a little nervous because they're thinking this little planet is going to, and Jesus and everything is going to have relevance to the whole cosmos. So we have to talk to these octopus people? I guess. You see how this actually works? Because I've been going lately since summer. I've been dropping back in on the whole. Because went to grade school in Catholic school, but we didn't do Bible. Turns out I think the Bible is pretty good, but it's the Christians that kind of have half the story, and the half they got is like let's let's not fuck up anymore and go to heaven somewhere else. We can fuck up or not fuck up on Earth, and that and Christ died for all the mistakes we made there, and now because of that, we just say, okay, we're not going to make any mistakes. We're sorry. Christ died for us and all this. I'm not putting Christ down. There's some very interesting energy there, but it's not in the Christian story of it. It's in some of the texts of the Bible are closer to it than the interpretations anyway. I was just about to get to it as shorthand. And then some of the lost texts are pretty good too, because you got to remember what we're getting as a Bible now is what the Roman Empire did to tailor fit the Christian religion, to more or less control the masses. Almost some certain cynicism there, no doubt. But let's stop pointing fingers and just, okay, now we're in a place where it's coming back. And what I'm saying is, even Christ is not about going to heaven by doing right, man. It's about heaven on earth. They're going to heal the blindness. They're going to solve poverty. You understand all this? Christians. So look, I don't want to be. I'm a Christian, I guess. What the hell? I'm actually a Church of the Void, but I'm impressed. Jehovah's real. I'm saying, Yeshua. People are uptight. They're calling him Jesus. Come on, the finger pointing is so extreme. It's gotten to the detail of people agree that Jesus is real, but if you call him Jesus instead of Yeshua, now we can point fingers at you. I guess I was going to get into something constructive, and there's so much finger pointing that I'm spending my whole 15 minutes talking about finger pointing. Yeah, and of course nobody cares, nor are they listening, and yet I have to put this on record. This way I can move on. I was going to say, I've been since 2022, July 4th, and there's a big backlog of these guys. I'm posting some of them now to YouTube as they come up in the memories. But New Earth, yeah, New Age, whatever. I'm getting a rash of new information. And I want to point out one thing right there. Everybody that's into the metaphysical stuff, they're quoting texts from thousands of years ago. Yeah, except for the Pleiadians are saying new things now. You see what I mean? There's the Buddhites, but even they. All right, I guess there's more because within there's a lot of conflict there's a general conflict between the Jehovites and the non-Jehovites, who I've been throwing them all in as Buddhites. But actually, there's another conflict between the professor Buddhist meditationers and the New Age UFO, whatever that is. And yeah, it's all real. I mean, it could also be manipulated to hype up the BS and point fingers and snoot down. Oh, you're calling him yet Jesus instead of Yeshua. It's like, or from the Buddhist side, all kinds of ways you can be condescended to from the professors. And I'm in a bunch of groups. I don't even want to relate to them, man. They're like, "Oh, did you get the word right?" But oh yeah, I was gonna say though, uh, the new information is coming from like Arcturians and some of the really good astrologers. And what are they saying? All kinds of this subjective energies are happening, which I feel, and I'm saying, yeah, because these energies are real. Um, but otherwise, from the metaphysical school, everybody's quoting the past, and the Gnostics really bother me because look, the Gnostics, they had vision. That's how they got to that. Now, any of you guys having any current visions? Because I'm trying to relate some visions I had in this lifetime about all that. Like we might have a new perspective and be able to see it differently. And yet, no credentials. Oh, I have to have studied it or found it in the manuscript. It's not, I'm relating real visions that nobody seems to give a fuck about. And even when it includes the fact that Jehovah arose as a natural progression from the one mind that the Buddhists respect and all that. And it's the Jehovah's can't stand that. They want to say, they want to cling to the paradox. There's linear paradoxes that don't work. Infinite regression does not work. But the foundation of the cosmos better be a paradox, or it's probably not real. You think this reality is something mundane that you can like figure it out in math, school, or even geometry? It's an existential reality. Yeah, you got all these people with the magical geometries. It's about who you are right now. And it can be simplified into all of these. I think there's a lot of profiteering going on. Yeah, I'm going to get into another video about how we get off this profiteering and match our wisdom of the oneness, which we claim but aren't practicing. Because you mean the oneness that this or the oneness that that? What about the elites? Aren't they manipulate? We're going to come together as a one and fight the elites? I'm hearing so much of that. And do I have to come back on why this war is appropriate? Because you can't let this BS linger. We had like a potential third world war, and this is kind of popping the the before it gets too festered. It needed to happen, and Iran was an interesting key place to just involve Russia and China peripherally to the extent where we see that they don't want a third world war either. The only people pushing it to the edge like that was Iran, claiming that they were going to and so Israel, people are blaming Israel for being too defensive. Well, you know what? I don't know. It didn't look good. I agree. What happened over there? Oh, and so we're ending with all that political thing. I didn't want to do that. Palestinians, yeah, that's horrible what they did to all that. But is it true that Hamas was hiding under those buildings? You know, they probably were because they're the ones that like claim that they're the ones that can't be talked to. Huh? I don't want to get into that. Not being able to talk to each other is everywhere right now. And yet you focus on what's happening that's positive, which is like you can get to some higher wisdom because it's out there, and there's ways to cut through all this profiteering to some new ways of really centering and focusing your energies and how to move on to what needs to happen next. You kind of have an intuitive, and you have a body energy, and then you have your decider. And if you can bring them all at one, unify all three of them. All these chakras is also a differentiation that it's good to understand the energies, but when you can bring them all at one, does that mean you're going to be your own higher self, Mike? Yeah, I'm trying. What does that mean? I don't know. You get into a flow, you let your intuition kind of guide you. You don't push it. It's like you're it's the middle mind gets you in trouble. Yeah, I'm so worried about paying fines or I need appointments or it's like, yeah, that's all. You got to keep track of that. I'm wafting off into personal advice. But meanwhile, your body wants to be in a flow, and most people are so disconnected from their own body, they're not thinking straight. That's why the Maha movement is super on time. And but also this war is on time. This needed to happen now. Get that Done. If we're going to have World War III, we need to do it just right now. Now. Do it. This year. Get it out of the way. But it's not going to World War III. Iran is folding, and it's ugly. And the thing is, the economy is going to go tanking a little bit. Yeah, it needs to tank. People need to take the economy seriously, that the way it's been running is just not sustainable. But United States has some oil that they're going to be able to deploy in the last couple of years of this go for it economy that Trump has unleashed, and it's a chance to get to some new solutions that bring more of us into collective. Was that a scary look? I didn't have my glasses. To get us more involved with the economy as a kind of co-op ownership, community based, where you pick your communities. Oh, I got to see what I'm doing, or I'm going to go over. Oh boy.